thinking, when will I think he was having a conversation. He was actually having a conversation with Mahaprabhu, and he's thinking, when will he come back to join Srivas Pandit's kirtan?
Yes.
When will we see him again? Like in that mood, in that kind of mood, in that different, you know?
Yes.
And I generally felt like, wow, that's so easy to just overlook all those things, and they're actually they're quite high, you know.
Yes.
Because they're high in the sense of like, you know, it's not cheap, you know. The separation is not cheap thing. It's not something to be imitated. Oh, I miss this person. Yeah, but do you really? Because if you did, how can you carry on? You know. So I just wanted to share that. You know. I thought that was very beautiful. That, you know, Guru Maharaj's chapter is going on about that particular aspect.
Yes, we are so inconceivably fortunate with, you know, actually, you know, what has come from Srila Sridhar Maharaj. We can't really conceive of how high and how beautiful it is. You know, it is so fine and so beautiful, philosophically and also poetically. It is very, very, very high, and it's, you know, when you hear some of these expressions, it's like, wow, how can I be allowed to hear this? How am I allowed to hear this, right? Especially if we consider, right, where we are living now, right? We're just, you know, we're living in the mundane reality of our mind and senses. Like, wow, such mercy, you know, such mercy that I can be exposed to such a high. I mean, like, really, if you think about it, like, and how many Brahmandas do we have this level of thought, like theological thought? It's not a common thing, you know. And how many universal cycles? How many yugas? That's the word I wanted to say. How many yugas, right? Yeah. Not in every yuga can you hear the level of Siddhanta that's coming from Srila Bhakti Yoga Institute. And also if you think of like the build-up, right? Like what's come from, you know, beginning with the appearance of Mahaprabhu, right? Like we can see the perfection of like what Mahaprabhu came to give and the contribution of the Goswamis. You know, we can see the perfection of that in what Srila Sridhar Maharaj is giving. Actually, Gurudev made some comment like that. Because, you know, because Srila Sridhar Maharaj is speaking like with the, kind of like at the conclusion, right? Like he's like everything that they've given, he's giving that plus something more. Right? Because actually Mahaprabhu, he was a little, Mahaprabhu was in ecstasy. Mahaprabhu didn't really give teaching so much, right? Obviously something. Mahaprabhu was mostly in ecstasy and like demonstrating. Mahaprabhu is showing what it's like to live a life of love for Krishna, pure love. And then he empowered Rup and Sanatan to, to actually put his teachings into writings, right? And they're all, you know, presenting from different angles, right? Jiva Goswami more from the philosophical angle, right? Rup and Sanatan from a little bit of a different angle too. And then Srila Sridhar Maharaj, he's like bringing all of that together. You know, what Mahaprabhu gave, what Jiva Goswami gave, what Rup and Sanatan gave, right? And also adding his own sweetness and depth, right? And you know, these aren't just words, we can prove it too. You know, like if you consider his explanation of the Gayatri mantra, right? That's not something that had been clearly revealed. From what we've heard, Jiva Goswami gave some indication, right? But it was not clearly exposed at all anywhere. And Srila Sridhar Maharaj, in a very systematic way, gave very perfect and very beautiful and very deep, profound explanation of the Gayatri Mantra, which had not been given before. Right? And also his explanations on the Chatur Shloki of Bhagavad Gita, that wasn't clearly given before. We hear again some indication, I believe, in the writings of Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur or something. But Srila Sridhar Maharaj, he's given, he fully exposed that, right? To the point where Gurudev tried to stop him, actually, and also some of his godbrothers too. Some of his explanations, they were a little concerned. Oh, this is too much, this is too much for the people of this, this time, So, yeah, actually, we can't really conceive. If we could actually feel how fortunate we are, how blessed we are, we would be giving every atom of our existence, right, in service to this ideal. It is so high and so fine and so beautiful and so rare, right? It is rare. It is rare. It's rare. And then Srila Govinda Maharaj is also holding that. And Gurudev's a little more hidden, right? Srila Gurudev, he likes to present himself as the perfect servitor. Like the center, he likes to have Srila Sridhar Maharaj center stage and he's in the background. But he also, has his own contribution. He distilled what Srila Sridhar Maharaj gave, and he presented it with some extra sweetness. There was this one, Isha Bandhu Prabhu, he told me about this article that he wrote. It was like glorifying Gurudev and Srila Sridhar Maharaj and speaking about, some points of the Siddhanta, something like that. But he made this one comment comparing Gurudev to Raghunath Das Goswami and describing him as the Prayojanacharya in this age. And which is a very significant point because normally we're known as Rupa Nugas, right? We're known as followers of Rupa. Mahaprabhu empowered Rupa, so Rupa Goswami has this prominent position. But actually, if you look a little more closely, then you see that Raghunath Das Goswami actually took what Rupa Goswami gave a step further, in the sense that he made more clearly what is the goal of this line, which is Radha Dasyam. And Srila Sridhar Maharaj mentions that, what is Rupa Goswami is holding the line, presenting the line, but what is the actual end of the line is not completely clear in Rupa Goswami's writing. But Raghunath, in his writings, in his poetry, he's expressing this profound attachment for Radharani, right? And so we can understand, and Srila Sridhar Maharaj has said this, and also Saraswati Thakur indicated this, that Raghunath has this very unique position of actually giving something more, even though Rupa Goswami is in the front line, right? And so you see often, in Saraswati Thakur's writings, he'll use this expression, the teachings of Rupa and Raghunath, right? And Gurudev also in Srila Sridhar Maharaj's Mat Shloka, the Srimat Chaitanya Saraswata Matavada Udgita Kirtir Jayashram. And in that verse, he concludes he's describing the residence of Sri Chaitanya Saraswati Ma, right? And he's describing the residence of Sri Chaitanya Saraswati Ma, and what is their ideal, right? What is their activity? They're in the line of Sri Rupa. They are mad about spreading the glories of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, this. serving Shri Radha Govinda like that. But the very last line is Srimad. Is it? Or there was a change, Gurudev. Nityam Rupanuga Srimad. Nityam Rupanuga Kritamati Guguranga Radhaji Tasha. But anyhow, it says there Rupa, that we're followers of Rupa. But then Gurudev, he wrote this expanded translation, and he added Rupa and Raghunath, right? And you see also, right, the last chapter of every chapter in Chaitanya Charitamrita concludes like this, right? Sri Rupa Raghunath, right? Aspiring for the feet of Rupa and Raghunath. So we can understand that from a more refined perspective, we are followers of Rupa and Raghunath. And Raghunath, he's also the Prayojanacharya, right? Rupa Goswami's Abhideya, what is the way, what is the path, right? But Raghunath, he's giving Prayojan Tattva, what is the goal, right? Which, as he is expressing, ultimately is Radha Dasyam, right? So, to go back to my point, right, Isha Bandhu, he wrote this article, and it's a very profound and perfect expression glorifying Gurudev as the Prayojanacharya, right? Like indicating, you've given something more than Guru Maharaj, right? And so Isha Bandhu, it was in this publication they were making at the time, I don't remember the name of it, but he showed it to Gurudev, like for correction. And Gurudev, he like read through it, and then he just made a correction to some like spelling mistake, like that. I think what it was that Isha Bandhu had said Raghunath, and Gurudev said you should say Shri in front, like that. So Isha Bandhu's like, so Gurudev's like reading this, and he's actually acknowledging, right? Because Gurudev could easily say, how can you say this? This is outrageous. You can't speak of me like this. But Gurudev, he was accepting, right? And just giving some little tiny correction. So Gurudev was like admitting, like, okay, yes, actually, this is my position.
You got me.
You got me, yeah.
You caught me red-handed.
Yeah. Exactly. So like these are like, Srila Bhakti Sundar Govinda Dev Goswami Maharaj, Srila Bhakti Rakshak Sridhar Dev Goswami Maharaj. We can't estimate, like, as Gurudev would say, with our puppy brains, right? Like how high, how exalted they are, and how blessed and how fortunate we are to have some connection with them. Right? We can just go on in some humble service capacity, right? So, why are we here, right? Because there were so many different missions, right? Following Mahaprabhu, also following Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur, following Rupa Goswami's line. But why are we here? Like, this is why we're here, right? Very, very unique wealth. And it's important to consider these things, because otherwise, we can become like blind followers, right? Fanatic followers. And, sometimes I hear people speak like, only Sri Chaitanya Saraswati Maharaj, or only Guru Maharaj, or whatever, right? And it's like, that's not this kind of like dogmatic and fanatic approach. No, that's not what we are about, But our heart is drawn here, right? Our taste, there's a particular taste here, right? Which has caught us, very fine taste, some nuanced, fine, perfect flavor, right? That's why we're here, That's why we're here. We've been caught, we've been caught. And so, we're trying to serve that and also share that. We're trying to be faithful to that. We're trying to serve that and also trying to share that, right? According to our small capacity. And yes, that section of Golden Volcano is very extraordinary, very, very beautiful. And it is a tricky thing. You were kind of indicating, right, the mood of separation, right? I was thinking about this the other day. What was the connection? I can't remember. I mean, these are very, very high topics. But I was thinking that it was something to do with rasa. That was my train of thought, right? And how, because Gaura Leela and Krishna Leela, we hear, it is the same quality of rasa, right? It is the same, ontologically speaking, it's of an equal level. And then also we have to say, what is the most complete rasa? It is Madhura rasa, right? But then it can be a bit of a puzzle, right? Because in Gaura Leela, that's not ostensibly expressed, right? Madhura rasa. But as you were saying, it's being expressed in a different way, in the mood of separation.
Yeah.
Right. So, of course, in Krishna Leela, there's also some vipralamba, right? There's also separation in a different way. But there's also the union, Milan, right? But then in Gaura Leela, it's full separation, right? Mahaprabhu in the mood of Radharani, plunging the depths of the ocean of separation from Krishna. So that's also one reason why Gaura Leela is safer for us, right? It's a safer topic for us.
It is. It's also layered in a different way, because I don't know about different, but it's layered in such a way, because it's like you have Mahaprabhu who's experiencing separation from himself in the mood of Srimati Radharani, but then you've got his close devotees, his associates, that are experiencing the same thing, a very similar thing. I wouldn't say the same, I don't know. But they're also very distressed when Mahaprabhu in the nighttime goes running wildly, madly in separation. And they're very distressed in that situation, trying to find him. And they're like, they're very concerned, aren't they? Just and actually, they can't leave him for a moment. There's always someone running after him, and then that becomes a whole thing in its own, and then a group of devotees gather and they're trying to find him.
Yes.
Then that's another separation.
Yes.
Separation of their beloved teacher, their guru, their life.
Yes.
It's another.
Yes, absolutely. Yeah. Yes, and also the residents of Navadvip, right? Yeah. And so they're also and there then the parallel is also there of Krishna leaving Vrindavan, right? And everyone in Vrindavan is dying in separation. So then there's also that parallel, Mahaprabhu leaving Navadvip and apparently abandoning, right, his beloved friends and family members, and they're all, Sachi Mata, Vishnu Priya Devi, right? They're all deeply, and that how this whole conversation started, that point, right, where Bhakti Vinod, it's so poignant, it's so striking to the heart, right? I'm trying to remember these prayers of Bhakti Vinod, Amichai, Gaur Chandra, Nabadipe Loite. There are some prayers that's based on. They're published in Navadip Avataranga, and he's expressing this. He's saying, it's like very simple, touching Bengali, saying, I want that. He's like pained to see the sannyasi form. Right, and so there's also this connection with Kurukshetra, right? The parallel is Kurukshetra. When Radha, Krishna, the Brajabasis, right? They meet Krishna again, right, for the first time after 100 years or so, and they're so eager to see him, but then they see him, and their separation actually increases because this is a different Krishna, right? This is Krishna in royal dress, Krishna with so many queens and his royal entourage and soldiers and elephants, and so, who is this Krishna, right? And so similarly, so they're actually more pained, right? And so similarly, when Mahaprabhu, he's been away for 5 years, right? Their beloved Nimai of Nadia, who everyone had such an intimate connection with, right? And then he comes back, but he's in this completely foreign dress, right? As a sannyasi, and so it's very painful for his his previous close associates to see, and there's so many crowds surrounding him because now he's become this superstar, right? He's traveled all over India, and he's this great sannyasi spreading the holy name, and so they can't even approach him, right? Because he's surrounded by so many crowds, and we hear how he goes to, what is his name? He goes to Vidyanagar, and there's so many crowds. He's like climbs onto the rooftop of one devotee he's staying with, so then everyone can see him, and he's also protected from the crowds. And people are climbing trees, and the Ganga's full of human heads, right? As Srila Sridhar Maharaj, they're all standing in the Ganga. Like that's how mad the scene was, right? Srila Sridhar Maharaj said that he didn't, when he first read those descriptions, I think they're in Chaitanya Bhagavat, he thought, oh, this is a little exaggeration, maybe, right? But he said then later on, he was a part of Gandhi's movement for a little while. And he saw, how many crowds came to see Mahatma Gandhi. And so he thought, so many people can come just to see Mahatma Gandhi. Then what to speak of the Supreme Lord?
Yeah.
and so Bhakti Vinod's like envisioning himself like in this crowd, right? And feeling this pain, right? Of course, the general people, they're excited and happy, but for those who knew him from before, right, and had this intimate relationship, it's very painful. And so Bhakti Vinod's expressing, maybe we can read that. Do we have a copy here? Yeah, we do. Yeah. And this is important, actually, because important for many reasons. But one is because this is why we don't do Rath Yatra in Navadvip. Because they want to take, this is part of the reason, right? Because the whole point of Rath Yatra is bringing Krishna back to Vrindavan, right? But Navadvip is non-different from Vrindavan. So you can't do Rath Yatra in Navadvip or Vrindavan, because where are you going to take him? He's already in Vrindavan, right? This is why it's important we have these things, because it can be very sad. I see so much this kind of like blind fanaticism, but we have to actually go into these things and understand why. And we don't want to be blind followers.
So kind of like cooking a birthday cake every day. So what's the point? Like, it's not even the day yet. What are you guys doing, sort of thing? Wrong. There's a time and a place. Yeah.
Well, the idea is, like he's already in Vrindavan.
Yeah.
You understand.
Missing the point.
Yeah, exactly. It's not just... Because if we don't think about these things, we're just like living in this ritualistic type of way, right? So let me find these verses.
Or like maybe a family member has an allergy to something, and you just you serve them some food which they're allergic to.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, you should know this by now.
Yeah, and you know, and I like that connection of the personal feeling, you know, because that's also part of it. Here it is. Here it is. Ami chai gor chanje loite maya pode yatai kaishor ve shriyangete spode yatai chachar ke chikat chava sane isho dhyane lila kode bhakta jana sane. I want to bring Gaur Chandra back to Mayapur, where his youthful dress shines on his divine form, where with his wavy hair and dhoti tucked in 3 places, he performs his pastimes at Ishodhyan with his devotees. So he's in this dress, his head shaved, and his harsh red robes, and in the order of renunciation. Oh, I want to see this beautiful Gaur Chandra. So this is also why we don't worship the sannyasi form, right? We don't worship the sannyasi form because that may be something someone wonders, like, why do you worship him like this? Because he later took sannyas, right? Yeah. He spent half of his life as a sannyasi. Why are you worshiping him in a grihastha form, right? Somebody may ask. But this is it, like we're honoring the feelings, we're honoring the sentiments of these high devotees. And a lot of what we do, it's about that, right? Also, like with many things, even chanting japa, right? Like we may not always feel like chanting japa, but it comes down to this point. My guru asked me to chant, right? There was this one, there's one, I think it's published in one of the books. I appreciate it so much, and Srila Sridhar Maharaj is having this whole discussion about the value of chanting japa, right? And he's saying that, you know, he's saying that actually, like for someone who's serving full time, it may not have so much importance because we're not actually at that level where we can chant the name, right? We're not actually able to do Nam Bhajan. Right? And so in our case, Vaishnava Seva is more helpful actually, and more meaningful. We're not actually experiencing, you know, Nama Rasa, right? The nectar of the name. Or I see so many crazy things nowadays, Kirtan Rasa. Like we're not able to taste Kirtan Rasa right now. And so Srila Sridhar Maharaj was saying, you know, then and for someone who's, you know, like ourselves and chanting japa, and we're busy in seva, chanting japa may not have so much relevance. He said, but our guru gave us that order. Our guru gave that. We made that promise to our guru, right? And so we will do that. With his and with his blessings, of course, then we can have some hope to take that, actually touch upon that name, to invite the mercy of the name. Right? In truth, this is the next verse. In truth, he is this sannyasi and I am his servant. This appearance of the Lord is one of his infinite pastimes. Still, my heart longs to take the Lord back to the temple of Srivas on the bank of Pritukunda. Very beautiful. Seeing the golden, oh wow, that's right, Vidyavachaspati. He was staying at the place of Vidyavachaspati when he first came back. And actually, so he first went there to this part of Navadvip, Vidyanagar. And, and by the way, Srila Sridhar Maharaj, he actually said that, he said you can do one type of Rath Yatra in Navadvip. And that is taking Mahaprabhu from this part of Navadvip to Mayapur. I guess it would have to be done with like a deity of Mahaprabhu. Right? He said from Vidyanagar, from this part, because that is like fulfilling the aspiration of Bhakti Vinod. Right? I don't want to see him as a sannyasi here. I want to bring him back to Mayapur. So Srila Sridhar Maharaj actually said that, we publish it in an article. He says, you can do that type of Adhyatma. See, everything has to be in line, right?
Yeah.
Everything has to be in line. We're not just, otherwise it's like you're just going through the motions.
Yeah.
Right? And it all becomes like arbitrary and imposed, right? But it has to be in sync with the mood and the feelings of the great devotees, right? So I'm going to just read a few more. When will I stand on the bank of the Ganga and behold the glory of the Lord at the door, Vijaya Vachaspati? Wow. So he's seeing the Mahaprabhu standing like in the doorway or something. When will the Lord, the leader of the sannyasis, mercifully appear before my eyes atop the roof of Vijaya Vachaspati's home? Seeing the golden... Okay, so he's like envisioning himself as like one of the crowd, it sounds like, who are gathering around Mahaprabhu when he's returned. Seeing the golden luster of the Lord's sannyasi form, I will fall to the ground and longingly gaze at him like the gopis who cried, remembering the Jamuna, upon seeing Sri Krishna of Dwarka in the garb of a king. Right? So this is that Kurukshetra connection.
Sorry, is that place still there? That rooftop where Mahaprabhu was? Sorry,
I'm not sure.
Maybe this is a completely pointless thing.
I'm not sure, actually. Maybe not. We go to that part of Navadvip as part of our Navadvip Parikrama, Vidyanagar. Right. We go there, and there's a temple there, beautiful Gaur-Nitai deities.
Wow.
And then just around the corner is I believe it's the birthplace of Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya. And Saraswati Thakur established a Gaudiya Math, Sarvabhauma Gaudiya Math. So those places are there, but I'm not sure about that. If that exact residence is still there, or if that place has been marked exactly.
Yeah.
I'm not sure about that. And then this verse, Amichaya Gaurachandra. I want to bring Gaurachandra back to Mayapur. So this is the Rathayatra that can be done, where his youthful dress shines on his divine form, where with his wavy hair and dhoti tucked in 3 places, he performs pastimes at Ishodyan with his devotees. Wow. And Srila Sridhar Maharaj, he also gives that explanation, right, that separation is actually necessary, right, in one's relationship with the Lord, because it binds, and this is one reason why separation is ultimately considered to be higher, right, than union, because it pierces more deeply to the heart, right. It pierces more deeply to the heart. The heart becomes more bound, right? More touched when there is a little bit of pain. The longing increases. Well, somehow we went to some very high topics today.
Sorry, didn't mean to.
No, I mean, actually it's very beautiful. We don't talk about these things every day, right? But sometimes it's okay. Well, maybe we'll stop there. We're going to have our Saturday program in a little bit. So. Jai Shri Bhakti Sundar Govinda Dev Goswami Maharaj Ki Jai Shri Bhakti Shakti Dev Goswami Maharaj Ki Jai. You want to sing, Prabhu?
Sure.
Hari Haraya Nama Krishna Yadavaya Nama
Hari Haraya Nama Krishna Yadavaya Nama
Yadavaya Madhavaya Keshavaya
Yadavaya Madhavaya Keshavaya Nama
Gopal Govindara Srimadu
Hari
Sanatana Bhata Raghunatha.
Jai Rupa Sanatan Bhata Raghunatha.
Jai Sanjiva Gopala Bhata Raghunatha.
Sanjiva Gopala Bhata Raghunatha.
Jai Gosai Kori Charanavandana.
Jai Gosai Kori Charanavandana.
Rahoite Vijnana Savita Purana.
Raha Hoite Vijnana Savita Purana.
Jai Gosaja Muritandadasa.
Jai Gosaja Muitaradasa.
Samsara Paravena Varabantaraja.
Sansavara Paravena Varabantaraja. Ayatana Semi Bhakta Sannivasa.
Janame janame morae ahilasa.
Janame janame bhule abhilasa.
Jai Jai Rajakura Bhaja.
Jai Gosai Jai Bhaja Garavasa.
Shri Radha Krishna Nityananda Kori Bhakta.
Shri Radha Krishna Nityananda Kori Bhakta.
Hare Anande Bolo Hari Bhaja Vindra Bhakta.
Anande Bolo Hari Bhaja Vindra
Guru Vaishnava Jai Namah.
Shri Guru Vaishnava Jai
Jai